Today we're breaking down the Nike GT Hustle 3s. Let's go. What's good, everyone? Welcome back to the channel. Zack here with Tamsters Kicks. Today we are breaking down the Nike GT Hustle 3, which is kind of Nike's failed GT Run line, but we've changed up to the Hustles. These are kind of interesting. We had Victor Wembanyama also wear the GT Hustles, so GT Runs, whatever you want to call them. So this is their newest iteration. They're kind of weird, but we're going to break them down today. If you guys haven't seen a video from me, we're going to go through the traction, the cushion, support, materials, fit, all that good stuff. There are some videos of me in the shoes, some different B-roll, blah, blah, all that good stuff. But leave a like, hit that subscribe button. Let's get into it. So the GT Hustle 3s, they're pretty interesting, honestly. I was kind of surprised because you put them on and like they feel super like platformed. Like they don't have great court feel. The upper's very interesting, super lightweight and breathable, but at $190 retail, I was like, come on, like put a little bit more into these. I don't know, they felt kind of weird, but we'll break them down. Like I mentioned a little bit earlier, the GT line, Nike really got onto it, the GT Cut ones, because the popularity was huge. Those shoes were selling at like $800, like they were going crazy on the aftermarket, but the rest of the stuff hasn't been that hot. Like the GT Cut 2s were fine. I think a lot of people did end up wearing them, but I think that was more based off the hype of the ones, and now the 2s became very available. The 3s, I haven't seen a ton of hype for them. I like them, but they're not like anything crazy, I would say. Then you have like the GT Jump line, which is absolute, garbage. So bad. The GT Run, which they just transformed into the GT Hustle line, which, I mean, I think they've all been misses so far too. So these ones, my expectations were pretty low getting in, and yeah. First up, the traction features a rubber outsole with a radial traction unit. So a lot of radial like traction units recently that have been coming out. Honestly, a lot of the shoes I've been reviewing has had that same thing. Kobe 9's been one of my favorite ones. I feel like that pattern was phenomenal. We're re-getting those ones. Please pick up a pair of Kobe 9's if you want the greatest basketball shoe ever. But this traction unit, it's okay. Like it's supposed to provide a lot of like different coverage and a lot of like good aspects for like indoor court usage with the radial pattern on there, but I just wasn't a big fan of it, honestly. The rubber compound on here will work indoors and outdoors, so that is a good thing. But if you're paying $190 to take these shoes outdoors, let me introduce you to some Puma basketball shoes at like $120, $130, because those will get the job done for sure. But for indoor use, they were like all right. Like I didn't have to wipe, which was pretty nice, but I didn't really feel, it kind of felt disconnected when you get into the cushion part, which we'll talk about, but overall, it was okay. The cushion features a Zoom X insole, Zoom Air strobe, and a foam unit in the heel. So like I said, they got a lot of stuff going on in here. 3 different things combined in here with the foam unit in the heel, the Zoom Air strobe all across as well, that Zoom X insole. It's too much, in my opinion. I mean, $190, they're giving you all the stuff, but I think it's too much. Like it feels, and I mean, maybe I think a lot of it has to do with my playing style as a guard, but you feel like a little more disconnected from the ground. I'd love to see someone with a little more weight, like a 6'7", 250, like just a bigger body play in them, and I think they'd be able to feel a little more strapped down to the ground, because in theory, the cushion system is very well, and with the more low-key traction pattern too, I think it's supposed to really vibe pretty well, especially with the Air Zoom pods here too. So I don't know, I didn't feel like that I loved it very much, but in theory the setup is good, so maybe a more heavy, bigger player would really enjoy these. Materials on the GT Hustle 3 combines ventilation zones with a softer version of Flyknit. So as you can literally tell, it's basically like a Nike Flyknit running shoe. Like this Flyknit up here, it is super breathable, super airy, the mesh is nice, it feels good on the foot. The tongue is kind of weird. I would have liked to see a different material. I think it's kind of just this more thinner like padding in here. I just don't really like how it fits in comparison with the actual shoe, and the material on the upper. But the material on the upper might be my favorite part on the shoe, honestly, because it does feel really good. This back heel part's a little interesting, and it fits kind of narrow in the heel part and then moves a little bit wider with the base here in the forefoot. So I did like the materials with the Flyknit. I feel like Flyknit's a really good material. Durability wise though, this stuff is going to rub out. And you do have a little bit more reinforcement with the added cushion in there on the toe parts, but I mean, if you're moving side to side at all, you're probably gonna rip through these stuff. So that's the only downfall with this kind of knit material, but fit was really awkward. I would definitely say, if you're really trying to get these, it was weird because I have a wider foot, and they were super narrow, like super narrow. And I could have definitely gone up a half size, so I would probably try these on. I don't know if you have them at your local like Foot Locker or anything, but I mean, Nike got free returns, so just buy both sizes, try them on. I'd probably recommend a half size up because of how narrow it does fit kind of in here, but it's just a little bit of an awkward fit, so be careful with that. The support is, I think it's fine, but I think it's because it feels off for me in the cushion in this midsole area. Because the upper is like fine. I mean, it does provide a little bit of good torsional support with that different ZoomX insole and stuff like that. The heel counter, like I did mention, is kind of weird, but it does go into a lot more firmer heel counter here with the mesh. So nothing really protruding or anything, which I liked. But throughout the whole shoe, I feel like the Flyknit helps keep you in, but it just doesn't feel connected very much. Like I love how like on like a Curry shoe, you can feel like the materials mold into the cushion, into the traction. And I know it's a different setup, but like it just doesn't feel that way. It really feels like three distinct parts, which I wasn't a big fan of. Traction and the cushion, I'm gonna have to say they're pretty mid because I was not impressed with them. I thought there was a little bit too much in the cushion area, and it just doesn't provide great court feel, which is what I'm really looking for in a lot of basketball shoes. Like I mentioned, if you're a bigger player, you might like how it fits, especially as it breaks in over time and you really like get into that cushion system in there, but not a big fan. The materials are good though. I do like that Flyknit. I'm usually not a huge into like the plasticky knit materials, but this with that Flyknit with the softer mesh is nice. It's breathable, airy, and I mean durability should be a problem, but I did like it. The fit and the support also both kind of mid. The fit was really disappointing in these. I thought, especially with the Flyknit, that it would fit a lot better, but it's just kind of awkward as it kind of feels like it goes from skinny to wider to skinny again, and I wasn't a fan of that. And the support's like okay, like it's not anything crazy, but like I mentioned, it just feels disconnected. So that's the GT Runs Hustle 3s. A very interesting shoe, but let me know what you guys thought. If you're paying $190 for these, I really want to know what you guys love about them, but yeah, we'll see you guys on the next one.